Welcome back. We have here Bob Meek, political analyst, to talk about the changes in this country taking place, the movement. Bob, we're talking about Republican Party now taking the position that we had enough change. We have very drastic change during Obama. Obama was too transformative, and we need to protect the American people from these un-American changes.
You know, I happen to be a strong advocate of President Obama. I think when you get 8 million people to have health insurance that were locked out before, and where you're now going to have 4 or 5 million immigrants be able to come out of the shadows, and that he has brought positive change to the country. And I mean, we were at the brink of a Great Depression. Not just, you know, the Great Recession was the convenient backup that we were able to find. Today, you will not see there are just starting to be a majority of Americans feeling good about the direction of the country. And so what they're going to wake up and find on January 6th is a new Congress that is going to want to repeal portions or totality, Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, anything to do with the immigration reforms. We are going to refight the battles of the past decade, and that's going to be the politics that Americans have for the next year.
So we're going to end up like zero-sum. Whatever Obama done in 8 years, we're going to undo. So what do we end up in 8 years?
Well, so I think the assertion of liberals is that you can't take away the health care. That
it is the law.
That once people have it, that it's kind of difficult to say, and now you should die. I mean, that you know, Sarah Palin's dream come true.
Yeah.
And Republican senators are already saying, you know, they have got to shut down the immigration, the deportation amnesty, because, geez, once you've let these people have 2 or 3 years, you really can't you can't go back. And you know, a lot of this is, and it's the holiday season, and so I am a great skeptic. This is really hard for an America that likes to shop. And all of this,
consumers.
All of this controversy. I mean, the protesters down in Ferguson, they are. And I'm not talking about the criminals, I'm talking about the protesters in Ferguson.
Reaction.
Are brilliant in that they have quickly moved their activities into shutting down shopping malls.
Yes.
Because you've got to be where America lives. And, you know, to be out in the street, you know, fighting.
People just drives by and they think you're crazy, and that's the thing about how we become a society of consumer, that we care about shopping mall, iPad, iPhone, not Iraq and Iran. So when the Republican talking about all this repeal, and they know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. They know the country is only interested in having a shopping mall and having their iPad ready and updated, but this is stepping back from the great deals and American ideals, and it's a regression.
And when the ISIS folks started with the beheadings,
Beheading on demand.
this broke into the American psyche, and when Ebola and
ISIS and Ebola.
and so the Republican campaign in many cases was, what you're going to see is ISIS bringing Ebola over the Mexican border.
How do you make that leap?
Honest to goodness, that was the in some cases the stated, if not the visual impression given in the campaign, and this was quite upsetting to a large number of Americans who turned the Senate over to the Republicans. Now, let me talk about the good news. The good news is
There is good news?
There is good news. There are 24 Republican Senate seats
24.
up in the 2016 election. It's because all these folks were elected in the 2010 routing of Democrats. In 7 of those contests, in 7 of those states, they are places where Obama carried the states in 2008 and 2012. So there is sort of a Democratic argument for resurgence in 2016 that is as strong as the Republican argument was to retake the Congress in 2014.
Isn't that always the case? Yes, the midterm, I heard somebody, the midterm is the revenge of white men. Because a lot of what we call them people of color don't go and vote in the midterm.
It's a turnout business, and of course the turnout is so much greater in the presidential elections.
Yeah.
I just want to skip back for a second, just in the political thought. Heard the other day in Ferguson, the African American turnout in the April city elections. That's
70%. Was very high.
6 or 7%.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to end up with a police force that might be 3 African Americans, 2 Asians, and the rest all white. And this is kept in place by this anachronistic. We only want the educated taxpayer who's willing to go vote in April to decide city, county, school board elections.
All politics are local, right?
And I don't think this is going to last, in that, just take for example, Congress refuses to act on helping protect Americans and the security of their communications and thoughts and data, which the Constitution does address a little bit of that. Well, who has acted? Google.
There we go.
And Apple. And the companies are responding because consumers resent having this government control and intrusion into their thoughts.
Now we used to have citizens that they go and vote and affect our politics. Now consumers.
That's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Is that in the speed with which change is coming is so outpacing government's ability to keep up and to even play a role in the discussion that they're going to turn and they're going to discuss issues of 10 years ago, where out in the world of tech and medicine, we're reinventing humans.
Yeah. Organs.
And you'd think maybe the policymakers would want to weigh in with some thoughts about what's appropriate in that.
But corporate America is the constituency of the Republican Party traditionally. I know the Democrats now are also victim.
Both
Both of them. But in practically, the Republican Party is a party of big business, and
so is the Democratic Party.
yeah. Well, this is a sad part. So where do we go? So if that corporate America is controlling our politicians, controlling our media, so what is the citizens or
The people who object to the police brutality evidenced in Ferguson and the absurd non-grand jury, they've gone to Tumblr. I mean, you know, most of us are back here with Facebook, and maybe we're
the reaction was on Twitter,
and maybe we're up to Twitter. But what I saw in the coverage was, no, I mean, people are just, you know, there's a Tumblr page, and they're just listing their demonstration, and this is where Bill Gates. And I'm not talking about Microsoft, where years ago he told us, this is where we're going, where individual citizens can make changes and decide how to live their lives. And there are, in all discussions about prosecutions and laws and the rest of things, it's just that the technology, the advances are outpacing.
But also, who owns the technology? Now we're talking about internet neutrality, and now you have corporate America, and even Google himself is against that.
Well, but you know what I've also been told and seen is that 90% of corporate America is for net neutrality because they know that Amazon is going to eat their lunch.
The top 5%, whatever.
If they just get this fast track authority, and they're going to crowd out the ability of the average corporation to, you know, put forth.
Which are the majority of business are small business.
They are small business, and they have actual flesh and blood constituents. And what we're finding is you can, you know, you can take the boy out of the country or the country out of the boy. But anyway, here's the thing. Americans still want to go be in that mall. And so what they're doing is they're shopping with their mobile smartphones.
Yeah.
But they're not staying imprisoned in their house with a PC. And that's the kind of politics that we can have. We can, the iCitizen people, and maybe at the next time we talk, the future of politics is right through this phone.
I vote. Thank you so much, Bob Meek, political analyst, and intrigued by talk and analysis. We'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all. All.